Hello you beautiful souls and welcome to this video. I deeply trust that this video finds the right people at exactly the right time. So if you found your way here, if this video popped up whenever it meant to pop up, you're here for a reason. I simply wanted to sit down today and ask for a message that is meant for the people that this video is meant to find. And I pulled two very beautiful oracle cards, which we're going to get into right now, and they're actually so aligned. I can't even. So the two cards that I pulled were the Dragonfly and the Intuition card. And I think both of those cards are incredibly important right now in this time on this planet, because I feel like we all kind of know and intuitively feel that we're kind of going through such a scary, weird, but also beautiful time right now on this planet. I truly believe you're very fully aware of the juxtaposition of both of these sides existing at the same time, and it's probably been a little bit overwhelming because you see both sides. You see all the beauty that is emerging, all the people that are reconnecting, all of these beautiful things that are happening in your life, the synchronicities, the things that you are awakening to. But then also, it seems like some of the shadows are just getting louder. It feels like old addictions or patterns are coming up. It feels like we're going through all of these tests, and it can almost be like one day you're fully living aligned as your highest self, and then the next day it feels like you've completely gone back 6 years and you feel like you haven't grown at all. But why, dear, did I pull the Intuition card? And that's what we're gonna get into right now. It's also basically everything that my content is about, which is so funny that I pulled this card. If you found your way here to this video, you are the kind of person, you're incredibly self-aware, you're incredibly intelligent. I feel like you know everything, and not at all in a I am better than everyone kind of way, but you basically know yourself inside and out. You know every corner of your brain, you're very, very curious, you're very intelligent, sensitive, creative. You are all of these things. But there's one department where you're kind of lacking, and that might be action. I'm so sorry if I'm calling you out right now. I probably am. I know I am. Because you are all of those things, and you have a very strong intuition, even though you sometimes struggle. And that's what we're going to get into. You sometimes struggle with actually acknowledging that you have an incredibly strong intuition. I feel like a part of you knows that, but then there's also a big part of you who feels a lot of mistrust and a lot of overthinking, and is this really my intuition, and blah blah blah, like constantly feeling torn from one side to the other. But let me tell you, you have an incredibly strong intuition. So we're clear on that. Okay, but then kind of the problems that I just talked about comes in. Why are you not trusting your intuition? And why are you still doubting its power? And like I said, you're probably the kind of person, you watch a ton of YouTube videos, maybe you listen to podcasts or read Substack articles, maybe you would love to just be curious online and read and look up all of these things. You're very aware of a lot of things. But there is still something that your intuition has told you for a long time now, and you haven't listened to it. Probably because it involves action. And for a person like you who knows everything, you know everything, you're very aware of all of your patterns, where things come from. I feel like you already have these visions of your future self, your higher self, your purpose, even if you still overthink your purpose. But there is still a part of you who continues to outsource permission or information that you actually do not necessarily need. Also, I just see a squirrel climbing and it's so cute. Also, squirrels are like my lucky animal, so I see this as a sign. But yeah, basically you're still outsourcing. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have clicked on this video, and I'm actually very happy you did, because I'm gonna actually give you a very gentle, very loving kick in the butt. And I'm gonna actually give you the permission that you have kept outsourcing. And this might be great, but it can also be really uncomfortable, because that's why we keep searching. We keep searching for things out there. It's quite literally what we are being taught from a very early age on. We are always immediately advised to trust others in regards of ourselves. I mean, just think about teachers and doctors. Whenever there is something wrong with us or something that we struggle with, we are always supposed to seek the answers from someone else. We've kind of been taught to use this framework throughout our entire lives in all areas where we actually don't even necessarily need it, especially you. You are not meant to live a normal life. Your life, and that can be exciting and daunting at the same time, will not be traditional. Your life will be very much beyond any ordinary rules, which is a good sign. And this is exactly the new wave of people that the universe and the world kind of needs right now to be on this planet. It is time to stop outsourcing and to do what you already know you are meant to do. And like I say, that can be daunting because as soon as we step from knowing into action, and I feel like you're very good at the knowing, you've soaked up so much wisdom. But like I said, often we try to stay in this knowing and seeking because it feels so much safer. Because our subconscious kind of knows that as soon as we step into action, new things arise that we might not want to deal with. Uncomfortable feelings might arise. And often it's so funny because the subconscious is so afraid of it that it will always try to steer us away from action, even though it's exactly what we're supposed to do. And we're not even consciously aware of it most of the time. We're often not aware of it that we keep being in the seeking, outsourcing mode, completely ignoring our first impulse, probably the first impulse you had years ago on what it is that you should do. Because our subconscious, for example, is afraid of shame coming up. Or if you're a perfectionist, which is also just a shame problem, we procrastinate and stay in the seeking zone because we are afraid that people might judge us when we actually take action, or that it might be uncomfortable. A lot of us nowadays are also really afraid that we might not be capable because of our attention spans, or in general, it's often there's just discomfort that comes with actually being in action. But that's also where the dragonfly comes into play, because the dragonfly says, live your life to the fullest. And you can only live your life to the fullest if you take action and if you trust and you leap based on your intuition into action and into the life that you're actually meant to live. Because I feel so strongly that for some reason you've stayed in the knowing and the seeking part, and that is not the full percentage of life. If you stay in the knowing and the seeking, you are not living life to the fullest. And you did not come here to not live life to the fullest. I'm so sorry. Even if it's so much more comfortable sometimes, I feel like so many people right now are being asked to like really leave their comfort zone. And yes, there are ascension symptoms, which are basically the things that pop up when we step into action. I love to call them ascension symptoms. It's often, the discomfort that we have to handle, or when we have to take the leap or send the message, or whatever it is that you need to do, your intuition is already telling you. You might even right now, while I'm talking, it's probably popping up. You might have a really fast brain, which I get it. So your brain might already step into like overthinking and like, ooh, what if this goes wrong? And what if this goes wrong? And da 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 da. You have to start moving. And even that constant fear of, ooh, what if, this is not my intuition speaking, but what if it's my overthinking and then I make a mistake and then my life goes wrong? You won't make an irreversible mistake. It won't happen. You have to start moving, and you actually have to start making mistakes. The journey is not going to be smooth, but that is how you live a full life. That is the only way how you can actually step into a life that is fully meant for you, and how you can actually live life to the fullest. Also, which I think is so funny, it just popped in, if you're struggling with any other areas in your life, your approach has probably been, again, to like outsource or just to seek or research, ask people, or maybe even to like just constantly think about things and find connections. Like, I love that. I love a good list. I love good, brainstorming and just like gathering information. But the problem is, since you haven't actually added in the movement and the action, like genuinely the energy of movement, of putting one foot in front of the other, does not have to be hustling. This is a hustle-free zone. You've actually held yourself stuck by not taking these small steps and taking these actions. I strongly believe you will find those answers that you seek in whatever area of your life by taking the actions, by making those mistakes, by being in movement, by trusting your intuition. And also, the key obviously in life is to live a life led by your intuition. It's the most beautiful, most magical thing. I truly believe that's what we're here for. You can keep researching your intuition. You can keep reading articles about it, watching YouTube videos on how to connect to your intuition, or you can find it out yourself by being on the way. Actually, I believe that's the only way for you to actually find your connection and to build that strength is by trusting it and by leaping. And the intuition is all about the unknown. The intuition will not give you a 50-step plan, and your intuition will not tell you, if you do this now, you will end up exactly there. Your intuition will lead you on the most magical, expansive, beautiful, deep journey that you couldn't even dream it up. It's so magical. So the only thing that you have to do now is to take the leap and to allow yourself, I feel like this is so needed for so many people, to allow the journey to be really messy. And when I say messy, I don't mean drama-filled. I just mean allow yourself to not make any sense. Allow yourself to change your mind. Allow yourself to be one thing one day and to maybe start posting something online. And if you see that doesn't work and it doesn't feel right, completely scratch that, rebrand 1,000,000,000 times. We're multidimensional people. I think actually a lot of people hold their magic back by trying to make themselves almost into like a brand and to kind of put themselves into like boxes and concepts and labels, which completely ruins the magic. Allow yourself to reinvent yourself a million different times. That's the same thing that I just said about the whole journey thing. You just have to take the first step, and this step will lead you to the other. I feel like especially if you felt stuck recently, or if you're a person who spends a lot of time in their mind and thinking, I get you. I get you. I love my brain. I'm such a dreamer. I struggled for years with taking any kind of action because I love to sit in my room and dream of all of these worlds. And I kind of always felt like I just have to wait until I find like the perfect first step. The perfect first step is not going to come. You have to create it. And even if it's not going to be that step that will, be like in a picture perfect line straight to like the dream life that you have on your vision board, things might change and they might actually be a lot better than you could ever even dream of. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to truly deeply think about the things that are holding you back and be really honest with yourself. And often there might be discomfort that shows up. You might notice, okay, wait, I'm actually much more afraid of if I do this, people are going to judge me than I thought. Maybe this like really messes with my self-concept because I thought I was like the kind of I don't really care person. Like our subconscious is crazy and extremely, extremely sneaky. We just have to sit with it. And we should not get frustrated with ourselves or be annoyed with ourselves or our subconscious for holding us back. Actually, diving into all of this is another really deep and magical journey in itself. So look at the things subconsciously that have held you back, but then also notice that there is no way around actually just taking the first step, even if it's a messy step. And the last thing that I have to like talk about it again because I feel like this is so strong for people. I feel like people are really struggling with, is this my intuition or is this overthinking? And one little piece of advice or little guidance that I can give you on your way, you have to trust in what feels expansive. And often also our intuition often shows up in the first impulse that we had. It's so funny because I am literally just now actively listening to my intuition. I spent the last 5 years actually doing everything that was kind of sort of a little bit in the same realm of what my intuition told me to do. And nothing really worked and nothing really felt life-giving or aligned, but it was still part of that journey, which is really important. I had the most magical years and I learned so much. But I am just now, the videos that I'm literally filming right now were the first thing that my intuition told me to do 5 years ago. And it was also, which is often the case, the thing that I was most afraid of. Because I was afraid that people from my past would judge me if I now, pulled oracle cards and did YouTube videos like that. I was afraid of what people might think. But it was literally the first thing that I saw 5 years ago. And I felt immediately drawn to it. And I had this almost like expansive feeling in my chest and like my body. It's a very like, just an expansive feeling in your body of like, I want to try this. This feels right. It feels expansive, but often again, it will be accompanied by fear. If you want to step into your life, the life that is truly meant for you, the most magic, you will have to notice when those feelings of expansion, like even just a vision or like a feeling in your body, after time, you will get to know that more deeply. When that feeling of expansion shows up, but then there's also fear above it. That is usually when you've struck gold. I mean that. I truly, truly mean that. Because when you then dig for the fear and actually just leap for the fear, that is when you literally jump in a pool of gold. So where do you feel expansion? And also, what has your intuition probably been telling you for years, but you've just ignored it? And maybe you've kind of already started taking steps towards something that is kind of sort of like the thing that your intuition initially told you, but it's still not exactly the thing. Because with that thing, the exact thing that you're meant to do, the thing that you would do if you felt the most safe, the most just confident, if you were the last person on earth, is also a really good question. Because with that, fear would show up or discomfort, or you would actually have to face some parts of your subconscious that might be uncomfortable. I also feel like, just for the people watching this, there's no other way for you. And I mean this in the best way possible. Like genuinely, I just feel like there's no way or timeline where you are able to live a normal traditional life. I know that sounds really harsh at first. I feel like you already know that as well. I feel like you've tried to live a normal life so many times. Like you've had so many moments where you just felt like, oh, I'm gonna just take the traditional path. It's gonna be so much easier. And I don't know, this is like too hard. There's too many ascensions and symptoms and I don't even know. And it didn't work. I feel like for so many people, especially my target audience and the people that find this video, it's just not possible. The universe needs you in your highest power, your biggest magic. If we try, it sounds really harsh, but if we try to embark on the wrong path, there's not necessarily a wrong path, but just different timelines. We get such clear signs when we are not on the path that is meant for us. We get extreme fatigue, or it just feels like things are going wrong all the time, or a lot of us get health issues, which is just our body telling us, please, I'm giving you a break because I want you to see this beautiful timeline that is meant for you. So I think that's really present for a lot of people right now. Living a life that is not going to make you the happiest, most expansive, peaceful, abundant, magical version of you, it's just not in the cards for you. I'm so sorry, which is probably the best news, but it can also feel a little bit daunting because it can often seem like the safer and easier path to maybe embark on a more traditional path, to maybe work a 9 to 5 or do what our parents tell us, or to find something that just feels like, yeah, it's not really Lyme, but it's easy. That's not going to be the easy path. We often feel like, yeah, I'm not going to maybe be like the most expansive, happiest, magical version of myself, but it feels safe, it feels peaceful. The problem is that comfort, which it's not peace, it's actually just comfort. It's not going to stay comfort for long. It's actually going to become really uncomfortable to live a life that is not meant for you. So it's actually much better to step for the discomfort now and to then have that feeling of, expansion and abundance, rather than just be comfortable now and then actually for that to just lead you to a life that feels not like a life that you were meant to live. The last thing, and then I'm going to leave. I feel like the things that are meant for us will keep circling us until we're ready to see them and acknowledge them and to actually bring them to life or embody them. So just give that a thought. What are the things that have kept circling you for years that you haven't actually done? And often our conscious mind will be like, oh no, but I've kind of tried that. I've kind of done that. But then when we really think about it, have we truly stepped into that? So truly ask yourself, what are the things that keep circling you and that have probably circled you for years or the past months, something that you can't stop thinking about? And then do the things that I said, like think about what are these subconscious blocks that are holding you back. Then try to move to the action part as quickly as possible. Take the leap. Nothing bad is going to happen. That is all there is to do. All right, that was it. As always, you can find everything in the notes down below. I have a lot of exciting things that you can find written down below. You can listen to my podcast. If you're here on YouTube, you can listen to my YouTube. If you're here on podcast, you can find my website. I have a free inner magic activation that you can download for free. And I'll hopefully see you guys again soon. Bye.